welcome back. Part 2. All 4 songs. On part 1, we just had Tim O'Brien joining us. If you missed that, you can watch it for 24 hours in the story here on Instagram, and then I'll put it on YouTube. I started a YouTube channel to upload these two for people to watch at a later date. So if you missed the first half or missed any of the previous episodes with all my great guests, you can watch them there. Or if you need to go back and find the set list like I did, because I took some requests today again, and usually that just makes me intimidated by songs I have to learn that I've never played before, like Bottle Dry. Or I have to remember if I've played them and talked about them before. And some of them that have been requested I have played before. So if you requested Reverend or Wish I Didn't Know, or what are some other ones I've done that I've seen requests for, you can go to the YouTube channel. It's Phoffman or Phoffman Music or something like that. Just YouTube Phoffman. All 4 songs. 4. So Patricia claims I never play her requests. So for you, Patricia, I'm going to play In Control. I wrote this song kind of a long time ago. I think 2010-ish or something. Greensky played it for a short amount of time. And there was like a jam in it, but it was unlike anything we were playing at the time. It was this kind of downbeat emo rock thing. And I think it was the first song in the downbeat emo rock vein that I had written. Now I've written many, if you're following along. Well, I don't know about many, but anyway, that's my style now. Love that downbeat, but I didn't even know what these chords were when I wrote this song. So Greensky played it for quite a while. Not quite a while, just a short amount of while. And then we stopped playing it. We didn't think it was working. A couple years went by and started playing it again. So I like this song a lot. It's one of my favorites. You know, I'd like a parent, which I am, or a songwriter, which I also am. You're not supposed to have favorites, but damn it, I have favorites. I make the rules in my own games. And I have favorites. But because I make the rules, I'm allowed to have favorites for different reasons. So they can all be favorites for their own reasons. Loopholes. My rules. Loopholes. So, In Control. I like this tune. I feel like it grounds me. When I wrote it, I maybe wasn't feeling so in control. So to sing that I am not out of control is it's kind of grounding. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. It could all be worth it, though. How the hell are we to know? So without further ado, before we have Tom Hamilton, here's In Control. Started fleeing comfort for something closer to the edge, for the view in contempt of my conscience. Thoughts abandoning my shoes, but turned to walk towards home instead. Though I am not without weakness, I will define what lies ahead. I'm not out of control. Not out of control. Now I'm swerving in and out for the force of the curve. Unchecked, I'm fond of the danger. Nothing's really out of line. Everyone should make the time to find it. at the cost of a foolish nature. Consequence and conditioning all weighing at me to slow my pacing. It could all be worth it though. How the hell are we to know we tried? It could all be worth it though. How the hell are we to know we tried? I'm not out of control. 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 In control, as in not out of control, for Patricia, and for lots of people requesting that. Lots of people always request that song. Makes me feel real good. Thank you. Yeah, as we keep doing this, or I keep doing this, I'm going to eventually run out of songs. So then I start playing them, and I'm like, oh, I should have talked more about it. I didn't really say much. I don't know what else there is to say. Used to play it on guitar alone a lot more when the band didn't play it. And I played it with Rachel Davis, who sings on the record version of that song at a show. We did some shows together. And she's the one who recommended I added more refrains, because I used to just say the in control part one time per chorus or per verse. She needed more notes to sing harmony on. So Rachel Davis cred on that song. Though I am not without weakness, I will define what lies ahead. It's one of my favorite lyrics I've ever written. Probably didn't write it. I just remember it from somewhere, probably. Oh, man. I got to stop reading all these comments. I'm getting super distracted saying dumb stuff. So let's get, speaking of saying dumb stuff, let's get Tom Hamilton in the room to join us. Where you at, TM? There he is. Switching electronics. Tom Hamilton, ladies and gentlemen. Hi, buddy.
How are you, man?
Oh, man, look at that beard.
I've got your beard. I have your old beard.
You picked it up when I cut it off there.
I see. I'm a sentimental guy.
Oh, it looks good on you.
You can't. I look like fucking Bin Laden, dude. I got like this like gray strip. It's terrible.
I dressed as Bin Laden one year for Halloween. Talk about questionable decisions.
Okay, man. Much. Yeah. All right. Well, you were in the Midwest at the time, right?
I was in Portland, Oregon. We did a 3-night Halloween run. We did the good, the bad, and the ugly. And so for good, I was Jesus, and then for bad, I just added a camo coat and let my hair down or something, and I was Bin Laden.
Wow, it's like you got a real Portlandia episode on your hands.
It was a real think piece in morality or something.
Okay, we'll go with that.
Okay, so that's the note we started on. It's better than what we talked about we could have started on.
For everybody at home watching, Paul called me and like my mother pulling me aside before walking into church and was like, hey dude, we can't talk about like these things. Like I'm gonna come on just like like I'm Andrew Dice Clay or something.
Yeah. Yes, I did that. It's true.
It's pretty funny.
Man, I dug back through some of your catalog today. There's a lot more American Babies records than I realized in Brothers Past, Electron. You've been in a lot of bands and written a lot of different songs for all those bands. Yeah.
It's a pretty eclectic thing. I actually was thinking about not that long ago, when I was like young, when I was like in my early 20s, I like wanted to like write a style of record for like every kind of style of music that I was interested in.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, I mean, I was probably 22, 23. I was like with Brothers Past. And like the idea at the time was, you know, that it would be VP, like Brothers Past we would make all these different records throughout our career, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that part didn't work. But I will say that I am happy with the catalog, you know, to be able to like look back and be like, well, I guess, you know, like the Brothers Past thing was like electro pop, you know, or whatever. And then the early Baby shit was like super singer songwriter, like definitely lost a girl or two in you know in writing those records, you know.
It's like I was going to ask you what you would call it, because you know, labels. You know, I hate it when I get asked to label myself in my band, but then I just want to ask everybody else what they think.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's all pretty like raw, you know. Like I definitely I didn't really go through too much of a phase of like writing bullshit. You know what I mean? Like just like,
Yeah,
you know,
there's
like
this.
lyrics were just like a placeholder. It didn't matter. You know, like I always was kind of like, you know, wearing the heart on the sleeve, being a little bit of an emo dude.
Yeah,
You know,
emo folk, indie
that
rock. I was thinking like there's this time and place where we wanted to be like, we're not bluegrass, it's more indie rock than that. But like, what does indie rock even mean? It's not like it's not a description of the music. It's just like folk with electric guitars or something, like folk music that's about the songs, but somehow it's like a little edgier.
yeah, man. I mean, yeah, you guys are edgy, man. You know, it's like do you describe the band or do you describe the songs? You know, you guys are a bluegrass band, clearly. You know, I mean, like no drummer. You know, like
Yeah,
you walk into a bluegrass, you know, a Greensky show, and you're like, oh, that's a bluegrass band. You know, just by looking at you. But you know, subject matter wise, and yeah, like you know, your tunes. Yeah, I don't know, man. I hate the label thing.
yeah. I think the reason I'm interested in asking you is because when I listen to all those different projects you've been a part of, it's like your voice is somehow constant through all the different variations, and you seem kind of like a songwriter like I am, who wants to write good songs but also wants to put them in these formats. You want to jam, you want to I don't know, rock and roll arrangements or something, but at the heart of it is the song.
Yeah, how you dress the song up, who cares? You know, at the end of the day, it
Yeah,
starts when it's just like, you know, a person in a room with something, and you play the song. You're like, okay, that's a song, and that's like, you know, you created a person. It's like, okay, well now we get to dress it up. You know, it can be the Queen of England today, or it can be, you know, one of the guys from the Village People. Like you know, like
weird
whatever.
science.
Yeah.
So the person's naked when they start.
Like, yeah, if you ever seen Terminator, think about Terminator when Schwarzenegger comes down, gratuitous buttock shot of Arnold. That's the song.
Oh man.
You know.
So what's are you writing a lot now that you're at home? I know you have a home studio and we're not out playing and we're supposed to be, so
Yeah, man. I don't know. You know what I realized? I realized that I really needed the break. Like more than just like in passing saying, like, oh man, I wish I had more time off. Like I realized now actually having it. I mean, it's been 2 months almost. You know, I haven't had this much time off ever. Probably since I was 20. You know.
me neither. Yeah.
So I have like pretty bad anxiety problems. My whole life I've had severe anxiety issues, and not having to go on the road and not having to leave my house or deal with people, I feel more comfortable and calm than I have since I was a kid. You know, because you know, like I never realized it because I've always had to kind of keep going. You're in the van, you're on the stage, you're working a job or whatever it is, and you know, inside I'm always like white knuckling it. You know, I'm just white knuckling it through life, and being able to just be home, I've been able to kind of like relax, and yeah, it's crazy.
Does that translate to new creative process for you, or just like a breath and a break from that creation?
Well, I'm not putting any pressure on myself to write. You know, I'm not subscribing to like you're home, so you have to be creating, or you know, like if you don't come out of this thing with, come on.
Yeah, I feel that way sometimes, but
Well,
tell
it's
myself
just
not
like,
to.
yeah, I fight it for sure. But, but the majority of the time, I'm able to kind of just be like, that's fucking stupid. Like, let's be real about it. Like, there's a lot of shit going on in the world. You or I writing a song is not in like the top 400 of like, the most important things that are going on right now. So I don't put the pressure on. I've been trying to write, which is just a excruciating process for me. I mean, dude, I look at, I know you write pretty prolifically, and I have a few friends that just write a lot. I talked to Russo, and and he's like, yeah, I try to write like a song a day, and I've read articles with like Ryan Adams and like these guys. I'm just like, dude, if I could write a song a month, I would feel like John fucking Lennon. But but like it's just not how it is, man. It is I make when I make my records, it is a terrible experience that by the end of it, I'm so emotionally drained that I would say every record I've made since I was 28, when I like received the master of the record, I was like, I don't know if I could ever do that again. I mean? Just like,
because you feel like you're pouring out all your last ideas at the last minute to make enough material.
I'm just digging so deep in places I don't want to go, man. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be in these spots. Dude, I saw this awesome speech that Louis C.K. gave years ago at George Carlin's memorial, right? And he told this story where he was like, dude, when I was starting comedy, I worked for 10 years. I worked on 1 hour of comedy, just perfecting 1 hour of comedy for 10 years. And he's like, dude, when I say it was the worst hour of comedy, I'm not lying. He's like, it was total dog shit that I worked on super hard for 10 years. And he says, then I heard an interview with George Carlin, and he explained that he takes 1 year, 1 calendar year, to write an hour's worth of comedy. And then he'll record it for HBO. And then he'll never tell those jokes again. And he's like, and it destroyed me to think that you could create something so awesome and then just throw it away. He's like, it blew my mind. But when you think about it, and this is where it really started. I grabbed it and applied it to myself. You write your first record, right? You're gonna write a lot of shit about love. You're gonna have some cliches in there. It's probably gonna sound like somebody else. Depending on how early you start. I made my first record when I was 17, and it was terrible, just terrible. But then you get all that stuff, and then you get it out of the way, right? So then it's like, okay, we're gonna, and that was like the first American Babies record. Was the first time I really was trying to write some like super raw, like just me stuff. I wasn't in a band really, it wasn't Brothers Past, where it was like all I had to do was write half of an album, and the other songwriter in the band is gonna write stuff. Like this is like my thing. So the first American Babies record is like totally that thing, man. I was getting closure on a super bad heartbreak, and I had just fallen madly in love with another woman that I got engaged to. So I was riding this line of, it was awesome, but it was super.
Yeah, the up down cycle. That's good material.
Yeah, it was a good
right
place to be. It was
all
fertile. I wrote a lot, but I wrote a lot of like, sad boy with acoustic guitar shit, stuff. I play maybe 2 songs off of that record now, because I look at those songs and I'm just like, it's just so remedial, and I can do better, So I got all that stuff out of the way. So when it came to do the next record, I was like, okay, well, I can't write about this, I can't write about being in love. I already did that. I don't want to do it like that. What else can I write about, and that record was in '08. So that was like the financial collapse. I was super heavily into like the Occupy movement. I like lived by City Hall in Philly for a while, and like did the whole thing, and was way into like get like that world, the activism, and and so I wrote about, I started writing about that stuff, and that's the second Babies record, Flawed Logic, and I was like, okay, well, I have to keep digging, like what the hell are you gonna do, and that's just where we are now, and I made 2 more American Babies records since then. The last one, An Epic Battle Between Light and Dark, was like, that's when we met, was when I was touring on that record, and that album was really hard to make. It was, it's basically a portrait of just like me dealing with my depression, which is, not a fun fucking part of my life, that I really dove into. And, yeah, man. So it's just like, writing like that is hard to do.
That's the kind of music I like, personally. I mean, I guess I listened to a lot of Pink Floyd growing up, so it's like...
Oof, yeah, oh yeah, there's a well-adjusted guy.
Yeah, so... Yeah, that dark, depressing stuff's my favorite. And I guess it's just that, like, for me, it's singing along to it forces you to confront it. So, and then when I started writing it, I guess, it's good for me to confront it. And then to confront it in front of people is another thing entirely. And then to realize that they're singing along with you and they're confronting it.
It's terrifying.
Maybe even without even thinking about it. They could be singing along with some song you wrote or I wrote that's real dark and hurts,
and they have no idea,
and they don't even really realize it. And then one day they think about it and they've been singing along and they're like, wow, that's probably worked through some shit for me.
Yeah, like Born in the USA, like like Springsteen put up Born in the USA, and I remember there was in when Reagan was running for office again in '84, he was trying to use Born in the USA as like like a rally tune. Yeah, and I was just like, dude, did you listen to the lyrics of that song?
That's funny. My friend Josh Davis, Jeb Bush used one of his songs without permission, and they sent a cease and desist. But he was also like, no, it's because it's about like labor unions and stuff.
Right? Yeah, it's like, dude, how tone deaf can you be? Anyway, so bringing it back, which was these things that I'm like realizing being home and being alone and really looking at myself and all that stuff. There's a lot in there to write about, for sure. But right now, I'm just at the point where I don't know how to process. It's like I'm, realizing so many things about yourself, and maybe just how, like, I don't know, weird you are or something. And it's like, I don't know, man. It's a lot to deal with. So like, so I'm trying. I'm trying to sort through all the stuff. I've been on a steady regimen of mushrooms and binging TV, and when I'm not driving myself crazy with the guitar. So,
well, do you want to drive? I have been. I've been doing this every week for 7 weeks, which has been really fun and rewarding to talk with other writers and about creativity.
That's nice.
I have been occasionally doing chores, but mostly just being a dad. Juniper just turned 1. She says hello. She's napping right now. She wanted to come down and see you.
She's my fave. Please give her
I'll
my
send
love
your best.
And to the missus,
Yeah,
it's stuff like that like, it's funny. Marco's wife called me up a couple weeks ago, who we've never spoken on the phone ever. I mean, we've been friends for, I don't know, 10 years, 15 years. And she called me on the phone, and I was like, hey, dude, like, I was worried. I was like, oh my God, is Marco dead? Like, why is he okay? But she was just like, dude, I was thinking about it. There are certain people that I always just see. I just see you, like at shows throughout the course of the year. And that's how we see each other, like that's our social time together is being, a run of shows that we just hang out and whatever. And she's like, and realizing that I'm not going to have that for probably, who knows, a year. She's like, I was like, wow, I'm going to call Tom and see how he's doing. And I was like, wow, I thought that was like really sweet. And so it's like, things like that, like, seeing your family or Deval's, wife and child. It's like, those are the things. It's like, I love that part of seeing everybody.
That we get to be. It's nice talking to your friends on the phone. I've been talking to people on the phone or video talking more than I ever would, because I've been driving across the country for 20 years, visiting all the towns you live in. I come to you.
Right.
We don't need to talk on the phone. I'm on my way.
Yeah.
Always.
Dude, I hear you. I mean, dude, you're bandmates. I spoke to Anders the other day. Dave called me a few weeks ago, and it's like, what are we, teenage girls? Just, like,
Yeah, then it really does brighten the day, though.
Yeah, it's nice.
Hey, play a song for us, and then we'll chat some more.
Oh, Okay. You know, I'll play a Brothers Past song if that's okay, because that's kind of funny.
Man, it's fair game. Brothers
You know?
Past. Okay, we're talking like early 2000s, right?
Yeah, this record it was called "This Feeling's Called Goodbye," and yeah, it was like the first record that I made that actually like people gave a shit about. Yeah, it was cool. It was a good record. You know.
Hold on, I'm gonna get dressed up for your performance. I got a scarf.
You're such a dickhole.
And some non-prescription glasses.
Hold on there. All right, I'll join you. I'll join you. You look more like John Lennon than you do.
Yeah, it's round. They're round.
I mean, okay. You're a pretty cool guy here, Paul. Do you mess with like open tunings?
No, and Tim O'Brien in the last half was talking about using alternate tunings to open new doors. I never do.
Well, I guess mandolin would be kind of different.
But I write on the guitar though, so I should experiment with it a little bit more because I come up with really creative ideas sometimes on the guitar when I don't know what I'm doing. Just playing.
Absolutely, it's the best. That's like the only time I feel like I'm like doing anything new is like when there's a new variable involved. You know?
Yeah. Otherwise, you're just doing the same thing you always do, and then editing.
Russo
creative
says
things
all the time to like when with like J-Rad, and it like really stuck with me of like you got to put new information into the machine or else you're gonna go through all the possibilities at some point, you know, of like if like you're only working with one bag of tricks, you know, it's like you got to put in new variables to get new outputs, you know. So this tune is DAD DADGBD.
So it's like an open D, like a dobro.
It's almost an open D, but there's a G and a B in it.
Fancy.
No idea why. That's just what happened. You know, I'm a maverick. That's what it comes down to.
Lay it on us, man. I'll just sit back here and ham it up.
Okay. I can't see. Never mind. And I'm so tired, 'cause I'm so tired from holding on to her, from holding on to her, and I'm so tired. Countdown to the stereo. It keeps you holding the edge you see, from home. And I'm so tired, 'cause I'm inspired. I love you in the morning. I love you in the morning. And I hope that you're happy now. Life over above your head. I think that you want to me. I think that you want to me. I'm followed by the state police, the FBI, CIA. I think that you want to me. I think that you want to me. You're always on the run. Your heart is like a gun. Now look at what you've done. 'Cause I'm inspired. 'Cause I'm so tired from holding on I think that you want to me, yeah. Well, I'm followed by mistake. The FBI, CIA, yeah. I think that you want to me. I think that you want to me. State Police.
State
by Brothers
Police.
Pass.
Yeah, I listened to that song today.
That's one.
What kind of music were you listening to in the late 90s that you think may have had an influence on your songwriting? What were you into when you were in high school and stuff?
Well, you know, I was super into Fish, and the Dead.
You like the Grateful Dead?
All right. No, but you know, I grew up on it, man. I loved it. So I was way into like the Dead and the Almonds and Fish, you know, so like that. But I mean, the early '90s, like the grunge thing was a huge, you know, like Soundgarden, Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains. Still, to this day, Alice in Chains and Soundgarden are still like two of my biggest influences.
So that's your like counter. I was getting like Radiohead vibes, like early
Radiohead
from some of this stuff too.
So like, you know, I got into like the Fish thing and all that stuff, and I had my first band out of high school, and we like, you know, we played the Dead and we played Fish and the Allman Brothers, and we did all that stuff. You know, a bunch of like 17-year-old kids ripping through all this shit. And then around like 98, 99 was when it was like, okay, I think I want to do this. I don't want to just like be a dude playing covers in a bar. You know, I want to write my own stuff. So then I stopped listening to anything that was remotely close to a jam band. I just stopped listening to it, and that's when I got like heavy into like computer. I discovered Stereolab, which was a huge find. Their album Dots and Loops. Do you know that band?
A little bit, but I'm not as familiar with them as Radiohead.
You should get a record called Dots and Loops, man. It's like it's fucked up. It's really it changed my whole view on things, man. Because it was beautiful and sexy, but it was also a lot of stuff was in odd time signatures. There was very eclectic instrumentation at times. There were two female singers, and at times they weren't even speaking English, but like it didn't matter. Like, you know, like everything was just so beautiful and awesome. And yeah, so that's like where I got like the real like electronic leanings was listening to Stereolab. I was like, wow, dude, these people are taking electronic music, like what was going on in the 90s, and applying it to like pop music, and it just, I don't know, it just kind of like blew my mind.
Yeah, I kind of have a similar. I suspected that might be kind of the case, because it feels like my trajectory is sort of similar, with like loving the Dead and Fish when I was young, and like embracing that jam open music style. But then as I became a writer and as I became more serious about music, listening to other kinds of music, and then having those influences come to my jam band, you know,
right?
Once you create the creature, then you can dress it up in anything. And you know, and I'm not trying to write Fire on the Mountain again. So right. Then I went and listened to Arcade Fire, and like sort of like got some influences there that I put into bluegrass, and then opened up to jam, and I'm like doing my own little piece of the puzzle. I feel like I hear that in all your music a lot. And of course now you're in this super jam band.
I know.
What's the writing process like there? Go ahead, finish whatever.
I was just saying, going to say that like that was kind of like the thing that at the beginning, like with like the Brothers Pass thing, there was like a bit of, you know, we came the last graduate. Do you know the like that club in New York, like kind of where everything started?
Hold on. Say what you were just saying again, because you froze and skipped for me for a second.
Oh, it's okay. I was saying that Brothers Pass was like one of the last like wetlands bands. Do you know that club?
I do know that club. So,
and that was the first time I realized, like playing there and getting a part of that world was when I realized there was like a bigger scene of people that were a lot of people that were doing the type of shit that we were doing. It's like, wow, okay, this is like pretty interesting. But everybody had their own like corner, you know, like everybody was in the jam scene, but everybody had their own turf, kind of, you know, like like the Disco Biscuits were the like techno thing, you know, like super hard 4 on the floor techno stuff, and they combined that with like, you know, the classical thing or whatever. And, you know, Fish were obviously like, you know, they were Fish. I mean, they were like the goofball Zappa guys that were writing just the most insane sideways stuff, you know, and whatever. But so everybody had like a thing going, and just what I wanted to do to be a part of the scene, you know, I wanted to contribute, and I still do it. I still like the only thing I really care about is like, you know, pushing this scene that you and I are in, keep pushing it forward, you know. But I wanted to do something that people weren't doing, and which was bringing it back to like songwriting and making sure that that was like a big focus. You know, it's like you can jam anything, like you could anything, any song you could jam it, you know, like if you're in a band full of willing participants, you can jam fucking anything. I mean, J-Rad's a pretty good example of that. You know, we jam literally everything.
Everything.
Yeah, it's silly is what it is, you know? But anyway, so it's like, so if that's the case, then why not make sure that the song that you're jamming out of is a good song and not just like a vehicle to
Right.
jam, you know?
Right. I'm 100% with you there.
Right. So then you go outside of your scene. Don't listen to, you know, you don't want to be in a fucking echo chamber. You know, it's like, I don't want to listen to Mo. I love those guys. They're great dudes. I don't want to hear a note they're playing because they're also a voice in this conversation, you know? So I want them to have their voice, and I want to have mine, and I want you to have yours, you know? Like, not just like a weird beige pile of God knows what the fuck it is. That's just
similar
like,
voices. Yeah.
Yeah, just like this nondescript crap, you know? It's like, no, let's be saying something and be saying it with our voice, and yada, 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 yada. Sorry, that was a little self-righteous at the end there. I apologize.
Yeah, it wasn't, man. It was good.
But you know what I mean, you know?
Art and ego are not, you know,
Right.
exclusive of each other. Do not exclude each other.
So you were asking about which band, Ghostlight or the J-Rad?
Ghostlight, I was curious about just like what the songwriting process has been like for that band, because what a cool project. And man,
it's a good band, man.
I enjoyed having y'all out partying with us for a couple weeks, and
can't thank you enough, man. We you know, I love, I mean, obviously I love hanging out with you guys, but I also appreciate that, you know, that you guys helping us out and bringing us along. It's like it means a lot to everybody in the band and our whole organization, you know. So like greatly appreciate you guys, you know, putting up with us and my potty mouth.
You're welcome. You finally get to play acoustic guitar with with me.
Dude, when this bullshit's over and we inevitably start touring again together,
we're doing it, man.
We're doing something where I get to play acoustic guitar.
So what's the writing process like there? Did you guys co-write a lot of that stuff as a group, or are you writing lyrics, or
I mean, a lot of it was Raina and I doing a lot of stuff, you know, like a lot of the preliminary was Raina and I. But Holly also brought in a few things as well, you know. But like, you know, the whole band, like putting the whole thing together was like, it was like a pretty deliberate thing, you know. Like I kind of like, I picked everybody for a specific reason, you know. It's like you know, like Raina at the time was a great songwriter and an okay instrumentalist and an incredible singer, you know. And it's like, okay, well, you have these things, and then on the other side of the coin you have, you know, like Holly, who is Holly Bowling. I mean, she's incredible yeah, incredible musician, great ear, and can fucking jam with anybody. And her and I have very just like a very unique connection, you know, like as far as like playing, you know, the way we speak to each other musically, you know. But Holly's not, you know, a great singer per se, you know, or and didn't have like a lot of experience songwriting, right? So you have these two people that really kind of offset each other and help each other, you know.
Yeah, roles. The defined roles are good for, yeah.
That exactly, you know. Scott Zwang is a fucking monster drummer, but he's also a monster singer, dude is a great singer, man. Like it I feel so fortunate to be in a band with a drummer that can sing that well, just with J-Rad. And then to have it again with, you know, with Ghostlight is like, you know, it's really, I'm super lucky to be able to be in two bands that have drummers that are good singers, you know. But yeah, so Scott, you know, I knew he could jam. I knew he had a great ear for music and songwriting, and you know, like he's not just like lost in like the jam world, you know, like he appreciates and knows good songwriting, and he's a great singer, you know. And at the time, Steve was our original bass player, and you know, Steve was a monster player and a great producer, actually, and that seemed like something that would be a good thing to have, you know.
Yeah.
You know, again, like Steve wasn't the strongest singer or necessarily songwriter, but it was like, okay, you know, all these things together, and like, you know, and I know my weaknesses better than anybody, you know. So it just was a puzzle that just kind of made sense, you know. So when we put the band together, it was just kind of like, okay, let's have everybody be focusing on what they can bring to the table, and
everybody just be yourself.
Yeah, if everybody just comes in and does what they're great at, this is going to go swimmingly, you know.
Yeah.
And it did, you know. We came, you know, Rain and I locked ourselves in this room in my house for 2 months, and we just ate acid every week and wrote a bunch of nonsense that we were able to kind of make into not nonsense. And then, you know, and then Scotty came over and he helped make it more non-nonsense, and then Steve came over and helped make it less nonsense, and then Holly, you know, we finally were able to fly Holly in, and she came in and
brought all the nonsense back.
And she, don't you know, you know, the most nonsense. But you know, and it just worked out really great, and I'm very happy with the band and excited about it, and so, you know, when it came to, so I feel like we're probably going to do the same shit whenever this thing ends, you know. I mean, Rain and I have been working on songs for Ghostlight. We have like probably like 5 or 6 things at this point that are like at a almost presentable phase for the band, you know. And yeah, and I suspect that, you know, in another month or two, we'll be able to start talking about flying and stuff like that again, and be able to get Holly and Dan, our new bass player, get them to come out here. You know, I build a studio here in Philly, and you know, get in there and just start working on stuff.
Start working on it. Yeah, that's our exact same plan. As soon as we can travel, even if we can't play shows, we'll get together and start working. We are trying to do it from remote locations, but man, it's hard. You can send demos, and you can plant seeds for people to get ideas about these ideas that you're developing, but you can't say, hey, play that again but skip the second chord, or
right,
what if there was a pause there and then be talked into it, or whatever. You just can't do. And this format too, Duvall and I try to do this and write, and it's just like he'd start playing bass, and then they would cut out for 3 notes, and I'm like, I don't know what you're doing in there, man. And I'd just be doing this in the screen.
Yeah, man, it's rough, dude. You just want to get people in a room, you know, just people in a room. You're not gonna beat people in a fucking room. You know?
We need people in a room.
Yeah, you guys should come to Philly, man. Do it at my spot. It's amazing. It's real. I mean, like,
it looks cool. I saw some photos.
Yeah, you'll love it. I mean, it's been
we'll come over.
Yeah, it'll be fun. We all just get to hang together, you know.
Yeah, that would be a blast.
That's all of it, right?
That's why I play music, is to hang out with
us. To hang.
To hang. Just hangs, man.
100%. Dude, J-Rad is, I laugh harder. Like, I mean, like, I end a J-Rad run, my fucking stomach hurts. Like, every time. Because it's like, just belly cry laughing for the entire time I'm on the road with it. You know, it's like, dude, you know, it's like, that's all you need.
It's a great band, man.
It's also a fun band, man. It's a really great, you know.
Yeah, I like those guys a lot. I've had some pretty fun belly laughs with. We shared a runner van with Russo one time, and I couldn't even breathe by the time we got back.
Dude, there are few people in the world, man.
I think we are real close in birthdays or something, a couple days apart, and we just were chumming on the same jokes all the way.
Yeah, dude. Him and my older brother, they make me laugh so fucking hard. It's like I've come close to throwing up from laughing more times than I can count, and every time has only been with either Joe or my brother.
I miss that, man. It's like when
dude, the original American Babies was me, Russo, and my brother and Metzger.
I was reading that earlier today.
Dude, those drives were the funniest goddamn things that have ever happened, man. Really good stuff. But I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No, it's okay. I was just imagining. It's funny that I'm longing to go in a van. Yeah, to go on van tour sounds better than it's ever sounded.
Like, I miss it, man.
Like I almost when we go back out, I don't even want to go on a bus because I was like, I'd be like, why is everybody in their bunk? I miss everybody. Why is everyone sleeping?
Yeah, man. In the van, you're on top of each other. It's just such a unique camaraderie with it, you know?
Yeah, listening to music together, being hungover together. It's the best. Play us another song, would you, my friend?
Okay. What kind of song do you want? You want something peppy? You want something down?
Man, it's totally your call. We're songwriters, so we can play slow, sad songs too. It's, this isn't a dance party. This isn't a Frasco show.
Okay, hey man, if you're taking the gloves off, I'll do a slow, sad song, man.
But it's whatever you want, man. The song you did for the video recently, Running in Place, where's that song come from? You don't have to play that, but I'm just curious where it comes from. Are you writing for solo still, or is that an old song?
No, that's an American Baby song, man.
Okay.
That's on a record called Knives and Teeth.
Kiss Me in the Mouth.
Yeah. Yeah, when it's man, dude, that tune. I dated this girl who was bipolar, and man, things got weird a few times. You know, like yeah, it was just like it's like, hey man, we're just like being cool and like mellow and like, let's just be cool and mellow instead of don't punch me in the face. I'm just trying to love you, But yeah. I'm not gonna play that song though, because that song's really fucking hard, man. I like, that's like a tune I have to like. It's the only song I think that I've written that I have to. If I don't practice it, I can't play it.
Most of mine are that way. So I'm getting deep into my catalog with all this home streaming. I like to play a 90-minute set. I have to rehearse for like 2.5 days.
Really? Most of my shit just kind of comes right back.
Well, I write it on the guitar and then I don't play it on the guitar for years. Oh. And I have staples that I play on the guitar that I like to play. So if I'm just occasionally playing a 60-minute set, you're going to see In Control and some of the other ones that I know how to play on the guitar. Right. And then there's other stuff that I just abandon immediately. And so then now that I'm digging real deep, I'm like, how the hell do I play that song that I wrote 15 years ago?
I could appreciate that.
And I'm a different guitar player too. So
you know what? Then to make it a level playing field, I'll pick one of my songs that I don't ever play.
Oh,
just to make sure that I shit it up.
Hey, makes you feel better. It's whatever you want, man. I'm happy for you to play one of your standard go-tos also.
That's boring. I appreciate this. I appreciate the challenge, to be quite honest.
Just do playing in the band. Everybody wants to hear
it. That's a Bobby song.
Oh, my bad. Wrong band.
So I'll do Dark Star? No, I'm not doing that. You know what? I'll do a Ghostlight song. How's that?
That sounds like a great plan.
I'll do a Ghostlight song because I recently worked this up, and
I was listening to the Ghostlight record and I was imagining what they would sound like without the band, because that band is such a band to me. Even though,
what do you mean?
As you say, you created it or had the idea is very focused and fluid, put everybody together. But it sounds like when I see you guys playing, when I hear the record, you're singing, then Rain is singing, and then there's just feels like a real collaborative project.
Yeah.
So I wondered, as I was listening to you sing one of the songs on that record, what would that sound like without everyone else?
I really appreciate that you heard that, man.
Yeah. And then, I was listening, there's one of the songs that you're singing for a while, and then Raina sings for a while. And I'm like, okay, here's one of his songs for the Ghostlight project. We could talk about this. And then Raina starts singing, and then in a minute later, it's in a totally new place. And I'm like, what? This is just a Ghostlight song. It's not.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's what you want.
I think that's like a really important thing. And One of the other things that I really love about Ghostlight is the fact that we're, that it's men and women. There's not just a female voice and there's not just a male voice as far as the lead goes, that they're, so so anybody can listen to the songs and grab a point of view from it. And I think that's just like kind of important, especially today, it's like,
Yeah.
And having that thing where in a lot of the songs, it goes back and forth. There is a conversation aspect to it. And I think that's like super cool, See, now you got me second guessing though. Maybe I should.
No, you're doing it now. Now you have no choice.
Okay.
You lost your choice.
Oh. All right.
Or you made your choice. You have chosen.
Yeah, okay. This is the cup of a carpenter. All right. This is Okay, ready? This song is called Best Kept Secret. All we almost need, the night where roads are clear, you naive pioneer, love is leisure dear, follow or lead or give up or give over, lead or follow, you're both getting you. I'm not either, out here all alone. I really love the feeling, but how you work me over, and how you kept me reeling. When you had me bite down on your shoulder, those bruises are deeper than I ever could feel. Say you're gonna love this when you're older. 2 days the oldest that I have ever been. Hey, follow or lead or give up or give over. Lead or follow, you're both getting you. I'm not either, out here all alone. Are we almost? I really love the feeling, and how you work me over, how you kept me reeling. Best kept secret, so Here we roll with the heel. Here we roll with the heel. Here we roll for the heel. Here we roll for the heel. Yeah. You want me to sign that for you?
Oh man, that's sweet. That was like so metal in the middle, and I loved it.
Yeah, well, like I said, man, Alice in Chains, Soundgarden.
Oh, I was hearing it. We are going to get cut off in like a minute, so I want to thank you for joining me.
I love
Thank
you,
everybody for watching. I love you. I'll come visit your studio soon, and
I would love it.
we'll jam.
My best to everybody.
Take care, Tom. Love you, man.
See you, buddy.
Thanks for joining, everybody. All for Songs with Tim O'Brien and Tom Hamilton. You can watch this for 24 hours on Instagram. Tell your friends if they want to watch it, or you can watch them all on YouTube. Quality on YouTube is not awesome, but in these times, we have these measures. Take care. See you next week.